Hey, good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to whatever the fuck this is. I'm your host, Broccoli. Yeah, and I don't have anything to talk about again today in particular. So I figured that what I would do is that I would just bring you guys some news and just read you bullshit off of Facebook maybe for a couple minutes. You know, I'm bored. It's the middle of the day. I'm going to get up in a little bit. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to make a smoked meatloaf. A smoked ass meatloaf. That's right. Bacon wrapped, smoked meatloaf, cheese stuffed. Bacon wrapped, cheese stuffed, smoked meatloaf. Made of pork sausage and ground beef from your local farmers. That's right. I'm excited about it. Once I get that in the smoker, I'm going to take my ass outside and I'm going to cut down some woods, man. Trying to make our yard a little bit bigger. We're putting in a driveway. We live out here in the woods. It ain't really the woods, but a lot of people think it's the woods. It's Peevely. And I have a gravel driveway, and I fucking hate it. You know, I mean, I'm glad to have a driveway, and I'm super grateful to have everything that I do have. Good morning, Cassie. Thank you for wishing me fair tidings on this lovely Thursday morning. Anyway, we're getting concrete, so you know, I got a lot of woods and a little yard. We got 5 acres total out here, and I'd say a little bit more than an acre is grass. I'm not trying to make more grass, but I am trying to kind of hey, what's up, Mr. Nicholas? And hello to you in Croatia. What up, dude? Just talking shit about my driveway. Anyway, we're having a concrete driveway, and the reason why we're having concrete put in is because I live on Highway Z. And you know, I know that's a lot of information, and people are like, aren't you scared someone's going to come to your house? No, not really. I mean, for what? For what are they going to come here for? I don't really understand all that. Like people acting like you can't be found. Like you could just Google my name and it'll give you my address. My phone number's listed. You know, what up there, Adam? I appreciate everyone who went on there and like did anything different. I see your comments now. Or your names now. That's pretty cool. I don't know if it's something I changed or you changed, but thanks either way. So anyway, the reason why I'm getting a driveway poured is because we live directly on like a highway. The speed limit on the highway is 45 miles an hour. It's a 2-lane road. It's not really a highway, but they call it a highway, right? With that being said, nobody does the fucking speed limit anywhere anymore, right? Like anywhere. If I drive 75 where it's 70, I'm getting passed by soccer moms and fucking Kias that are text messaging. It kind of drives me nuts. I like to drive fast as the next guy, man, but like, where the fuck are you going and why are you so late? Like, I'm the latest motherfucker I know, and I don't drive as fast as these assholes on a highway, man. Like, I remember when I used to think 75, 80 was hauling ass on a highway. Like, speed limit was 55 or 60 most places. You know, you go out here, though, these motherfuckers are doing 70 miles an hour. I got a turn that's about 150 yards from my driveway. And it's sort of a blind turn. So when these fuckheads come around the corner and you're turning left in front of them, it sets up a super scary situation. And I have actually had people honk at me for pulling out of my fucking driveway and them driving too fast. Like that shit drives me nuts, man. I'm not a road rager, but that will make me want to fight you. You know what I mean? Like you come around a corner and you're going fast as shit, and then you honk at me. You almost kill me, and you honk at me. Do the fucking speed limit in these areas, man. Oh, Tom, it's nuts. It's fucking crazy. And you know, like this used to be an undeveloped kind of rural area, but lately there are subdivisions and houses and shit like that being built. I wish people could just slow down a little bit. I understand going 5 miles an hour to speed limit because that's my jam. If the speed limit's 45, I'm going 50. But at 50 miles an hour, I can make a full stop in front of my house without killing anyone. At 60 miles an hour, it's getting a little sketchy. At 70, no fucking way, man. You're going to wreck, you know? And so in order to remedy the issue and give myself a little bit of a hole shot, we're putting in concrete. We were going to put in blacktop for some fucking reason. I can't find anyone to fix my transmission, and I can't find anyone to fix my blacktop. So if you're watching and you can fix my fucking transmission, And when I say fix my transmission, I mean pull it out of my Camaro, fix it, make it a little beefier, put it back in my Camaro, call me. I have fucking money that I would love to give you to have my vehicle fixed. I just don't want to leave it in a parking lot exposed to the fucking heathens and criminals. So this means I'd like to bring it to you the day that you plan on working on it, and I don't want it to come out of your garage or your bay until the transmission's back in. If you could fit these criterias, please fucking call me. But blacktop, same thing, man. I contacted like 4 fucking blacktop companies. I finally gave up. A friend of mine stopped by and said, dude, I'll get you concrete in here for just a little bit more than the blacktop's going to cost. Concrete makes more sense. It doesn't have to be recoated or fucking anything. It just poured and you're done, you know? I come on to Z at Sandy Creek every morning. People be flying. PVPD does that. They do a lot of ticketing, but like basically if you live on Z, you'll know that you have to do 35 miles an hour until you get to Sandy Creek Road. Once you get to Sandy Creek Road, that's like the fucking white flag is lifted and all systems go, man. As soon as you pop around that corner, they are flying. I'm not a big fan of road pirating. I'm really not. So I'm not going to I don't want to be the kind of guy that's like, man, I'm calling wish cops instead of, I wish that people would consider the idea that they might possibly kill someone or themselves by driving excessive speeds in these areas that are still rural, but being developed where people live and shit. If you see driveways, man, take it easy. All right. You know, like I get it. I want to drive fast too. I'm just not in a hurry to hurt anyone or myself. Okay. So like avoid police trouble by doing the speed limit or just slightly above it. If you're doing 5 miles an hour or less over the speed limit, they're not pulling you over unless you're in Bella Villa or you're in Peevely at the beginning of Peevely until you get to Sandy Creek Road or Burns Mill or other bullshit ass places where the cops don't have shit to fucking do and they pull people over looking for revenue collection like fucking road pirates. That shit is ineffective at stopping traffic, you know, from doing what traffic does. But where the fuck are these soccer moms going? Like, where the fuck are you going? Why are you doing 85? You know? Fuck. Got a lot of big trucks out here too, man. I moved out to Jeffco. I kind of knew there was going to be a bunch of hillbillies and shit. But the big trucks are fucking impressive, and they're almost all driven by the same kind of people. Like a guy that's like 5'7", 5'8". And he's got on like really fucking like well-fitting jeans with a dip fucking mark in the back, you know. Not that I'm looking, but no penile hump where a man should have a penile hump. Probably explains the big truck. But the trucks aren't the problem. It's just the soccer moms, honestly. The soccer moms are the fucking problem, you know? So, yeah, I ramble on about my driveway, but who gives a fuck about that for real? Let's talk about some news, or at least what Facebook calls the news. I like to read this stuff sometimes to see just how out of place they are. I use a different browser than Google or Chrome or any of that. And by the way, one of the Walmart guys involved with the shooting were identified last night. Wow, that's great news, actually, because from what I know, they were actually doing that at multiple Walmarts. They were going around and loading up TVs and shit. And then whenever associates would try to stop them, they'd fire a single shot. Now, I don't give a single fuck that they're stealing from Walmart. I care that they're popping shots over stealing the shit. Like, that's some brazen shit. But it's almost like people are figuring out that there's really nothing stopping them from doing whatever the fuck they want. And I say that quietly, hoping that people don't hear me. But, you know, it's kind of a weird comfort blanket to think that someone's out there hampering these crimes. I mean, they'll pursue you afterwards. But, you know, like, I don't know. I feel like maybe if it wasn't Walmart, like if they'd have stuck to like home invasions, cops probably still wouldn't give a shit what they were doing. But since they fuck with the corporation, you know. So anyway, let's read some news. I guess I could show you guys. We could do this. Picture layout. So I forgot how to do this shit. I was gonna show you guys a story, but fuck it, I'll just read it to you. I mean, I need to work on getting better with the StreamYard. Anyway, Memphis police say 4 dead, 3 injured in string of Wednesday shootings prompting city lockdown. The search for 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly, who Memphis police say is responsible for several shootings Wednesday evening, is over. I'll read this story. Why not? 19-year-old police say is responsible for several shootings in Memphis, is in custody, bringing an end to a 2 hours plus crisis that left 4 people dead and 3 people injured. The rampage left parts of the city paralyzed with restaurants on lockdown, residents told to shelter in place, and bus service suspended. Police said around 9:20 p.m. that officers arrested Ezekiel. Fuck you, Ezekiel, like the meme or whatever. He had been connected to a sequence of shootings across Memphis. The Memphis Police Department, after receiving a call from a concerned citizen, launched a citywide search for Kelly. The caller had told police Kelly was on Facebook Live threatening to cause harm to citizens. Davis said this was when an alert from MPD went out, with police advising people to stay indoors around 7 while they search for the suspected shooter. South Haven Police Department tweeted, gives a fuck about their tweets. Officers responded to a vehicle theft around 8:53. Police said officers immediately learned that Kelly was a suspect and saturated the area with law enforcement. Police confirmed Kelly was in custody after using a shelter-in-place alert. He has prior arrests for attempted first-degree murder and reckless endangerment in 2020. You know, I know that's going to turn the police state people's nipples erect. They're going to be like, oh my God, he was arrested before for attempted first-degree murder. Listen, I'd like to have that guy, like if there would have been, fuck, we're so fucked. You know, I'd like to think that there was a reason why he wasn't convicted for first-degree murder instead of prosecutors just releasing him, you know, and reckless endangerment in 2020. You can't just lock everybody up, guys. I don't like when people respond with like, wow, people would still be alive if it wasn't for the fucking shitty systems. Yeah, that's true, man. The system sucks. But why pour it on? You know, you don't know the fucking, you don't know what happened. And then I don't really even appreciate them adding that shit in there without adding why or what the case was dismissed for, you know, because that's the shit just to get the public worked up and to sow discourse, which there's plenty of reasons to have discourse and aggravation with the fucking government, man. So, you know, is the Queen dead? What up there, Nick? So anyway, that was depressing enough. Let's move on. This is a weird one, man. I just read about this. Las Vegas official arrested in connection with investigative journalist stabbing death. This is a live one here, man. Oh shit. Have this day in history pulled up so that I could talk about today in history. And then I just close that fucking tab. Anyway, that's back. Las Vegas official arrested in connection with journalist death. How the fuck do we do this? Shift 7. Share screen. Window. Look, I'm figuring it out. Bing. Look, I'm down in the bottom left too. That works out. Hey, look at me. Woohoo. Anyway, Las Vegas official arrested in connection with journalist death. Police said Wednesday evening they arrested a suspect in the stabbing death of Las Vegas Review-Journal investigative reporter Jeff German. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department said in a short statement that a suspect had been taken into custody. Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo told the Review-Journal the arrested suspect was Clark County Public Administrator Robert Tellis, a Democrat. Like, a Democrat. Like, I mean, I guess it's relevant, but I don't know. I feel like I just see the divisive shit in everything that's written, and it bothers me. You know, we're all in a mood because of the way that the world is or whatever. But anyway, Review-Journal reporter Brett Clarkson shared video online of Tellis, 45, being taken into an ambulance on a stretcher surrounded by police. Clark County District Attorney Steve Wilson told the New York Times Tellus was taken into custody on suspicion of murder. German, who was found dead outside his home on Saturday, spent months reporting on Tell's oversight of the public administrator's office following allegations of bullying, favoritism, and a relationship with a staffer, per the Review Journal. Now, I don't know if anybody's surprised by the government having those kind of relations, but I'm not. We could look at all these guys, and every bit of that shit happens in every government office, man. Seriously, every one of them. Give me a chance, and I'll show you. Like, you know. Tells is in custody and outraged that a colleague appears to have been killed for reporting on an elected official. Journalists can't do the important work our communities require if they are afraid a presentation of facts could lead to violent retribution. Cook thanked police for response. Hopefully the anyway. News. Queen Elizabeth gonna die. She's under medical supervision. How old is this broad anyway? Jesus. Queen Elizabeth II is under medical care at Balmoral Castle after doctors become concerned about her health. Buckingham Palace said Thursday. Her family is traveling to Scotland to be by her side. To Scotland. You're the Lord of England, but you're going to Scotland. Following further evaluation this morning, the Queen's doctors are concerned for Her Majesty's health and have recommended she remain under medical supervision. The Queen remains comfortable and at Balmoral. Are they going to have a Game of Thrones type fight to the death? I wish that they would. That would be fucking epic, right? Like, the Queen dies, someone's got to take over, like Prince Harry, Prince William, all these Prince Georges and Louis and princesses, they all just grab a fucking sword, and the last person standing gets to be the new queen or king, respectively, I guess. I mean, it is 22, though. 2022. Now you could be both. We could have a non-binary ruler in England, perhaps. I wish, man. I fucking wish. I mean, we made a mockery of everything else. Let's make a mockery of their bullshit, too. We're talking about the oldest royal family in fucking history, man. How long have these assholes been in rule? She's 96 years old. And you know what's funny is people are going to act like they give a shit about the Queen. I am going to tell you right now that I do not care about the fucking Queen. All right? I don't care. Only reason why I'm talking about her is because she's in the news and she's going to die. And I say good riddance. Her family is responsible for terrible, atrocious acts. And they rule through oligarchy. Gross. Seriously. I just don't care about the Queen. And Princess Diana, like, if you want to like the Queen, just go look at the Princess Diana thing. I bet you don't like the Queen after that shit, because I bet the Queen had her unalived. I said unalived because a lot of places just you can't say certain keywords, man. Not that I give a shit. I'm not monetized. I don't make any money for doing this, and I personally don't give a shit what any of the tech guys think about my content. I mean, they're going to block you whether you follow the rules or not, and they can certainly do whatever they want. Anyway, let's get on with it. Skipping that one. Suspect in Canada stabbing spree dies soon after arrest. Canada stabbing spree. This is horrible. So apparently, two brothers went on a stabbing spree that killed 10 people in and around an indigenous reserve. Apparently, that he lapsed and went into an unexplained medical distress and died soon after. Miles Sanderson, 30, ended with his death. Anyway, they were on a manhunt looking for this guy. Him and his older brother, an accused accomplice, Damian Sanderson. Damian Sanderson was found slain with his older brother on Monday in a grassy area of the James Smith Cree Nation Reserve in central Saskatchewan. Police say they were still investigating whether the younger sibling might have killed his brother in the aftermath of the stabbing rampage. That's the thing about these stabbing rampage guys. You just never, I mean, they're stabby, bro. They might stab you too. Anyway, it took place in a reserve and a nearby village of Weldon. And it's a terribly sad event, man. Honestly, like, good God, how fucking savage is that to just drive around and stab people? They said that some of the people seemed like they were connected to him, and some of the people seemed like they just stabbed him randomly. And that's fucking awful. But I can't help But think about things like gun control whenever this kind of happens. Because, Canada is very strict about their gun control. They have lots of rules about what you can and can't possess as a Canadian citizen. And they pride themselves on their lack of gun violence, right? Well, I, obviously I don't want anybody to ban any knives, but this is a prime example of how if people really want to do some terrible shit, they're going to do it, man. It's not the gun. It's not the truck. It's not the knife. It's the person. And there's really no solution for the problem except to improve mental health conditions for humans and make the world a better place to live, really, to where people want to go on random killing sprees less. I know that's a crazy, crazy fucking idea, right? Wow, try to improve conditions so people aren't killing each other. I don't know, Oh, an off-duty California sheriff's deputy surrendered after he fatally shot a married couple. Holy cannoli. 103 more migrants from Texas arrive in Chicago. I don't care about that either. St. Louis man who faked his identity for more than 30 years gets mercy from a judge. I was reading about this. Apparently the guy, anyway, here, I'll just read it to you. A St. Louis man who lived under a fake identity for 30 years and raised a family in Germany has gotten some mercy from a federal judge. DeLeo Antonio Barner was facing up to a year in prison for using his fake name to renew his passport over the past 30 years. His passport. I'm always under the guise that the feds, they wouldn't let that shit happen. A passport. This is his fucking passport. This is supposed to be the utmost of background checks. The trouble began when he was 23 and got kicked out of the army for missing a drill day, but wanted to re-enlist so he could get away from St. Louis after some friends had died violent deaths there. I didn't mean to laugh during that because I didn't know how that was going to end. It took a dark turn. Federal prosecutor Kyle Bateman explained more. It's a man who 37 years ago or so began pretending to be another person, someone he knew in St. Louis, and used that person's identity to enlist in the military. And then he just continued being that person. Barner got caught when the man whose name he had stolen had trouble getting medical insurance because the system showed he already had VA health coverage. The judge could have given Barner up to a year in prison, but he let him go with 3 years probation and no fines, partly because he had served honorably in the army. I don't want this guy to go to jail, right? So I'm not upset with that decision. What I'm impressed by is the fact that this dude duped the federal government, renewed his passport on a regular basis, and he literally had a 27-year career or involvement with the United States military. That's fucking impressive, honestly. Researchers discover a skeleton at a Polish cemetery that's straight out of a horror movie. I don't really care about that. John Daly. Oh, let's look at this. Boom. John Daly. Look at this guy. My spirit animal. Oh, yeah. I've been tagging so many John Daly things, man. John Daly got his old ass out there. Boo. Oh, okay. I'm figuring out. If more people understood that safety is an illusion, the idea of gun control would dissolve. That's true, man. That's true. Because it really is, it's just an illusion of safety. Police looking for downtown Austin homicide suspects in their vehicle. Steve Jobs' daughter says new iPhone 14 is same as older version. The new iPhone's coming out, man, and I have a couple friends who work for AT&T and they're in the industry, so I don't want them to have their feelings hurt when I say this, but if you run out and buy this new iPhone, you're kind of a capitalistic dipshit, man. Come on. I don't give a fuck about Steve Jobs' daughter, but how many of these fucking phones are they just, doesn't it feel like they just released 2 or 3 iPhones a fucking year? And they just keep stepping the price up on them and pretending they're giving you some new features that Android's always had forever. On top of that, I used to be right with you. Apple is so secure, man. Apple is all of this shit. But Apple got hacked too. Okay? Apple got fucked up this year too. I didn't forget. Apple had a security breach. Lots of Apple users got exposed. Just saying. Why are some people upset with Fat Joe hosting the BET Hip Hop Awards? I'm going to go out on a limb without opening up the article and say it's because he's not black. And it is the Black Entertainment what is television? Black Entertainment Television Hip Hop Awards. Why would you have Cuban or Hispanic Joe host the BET Hip Hop Awards? I mean, I'm not offended by it, but it does seem, I don't know. UFC alum Renzo Gracie allegedly involved in physical altercation on New York City subway platform. Don't fuck with the Gracies. I'm going to guess he come out on top of that one. He was caught swindling an acquaintance in a botched drug deal. Then he killed his man and family. Ugh. Man, I just want to. Woman's boyfriend lets the cat pick out his food each day, and we're into it. Owner dies in car crash in front of his Mount Laurel house. One of the largest solar storms we've ever seen, just walloped Venus. There's a lot going on out there in space, man. You should probably try to check that shit out. There's a lawsuit against Mr. Elon Musk right now for $258 billion. The $258 billion racketeering lawsuit accusing Elon Musk of running a pyramid scheme to support the cryptocurrency Dogecoin has expanded, adding 7 new investor plaintiffs and 6 new defendants, including his tunnel construction company, Boring Company. According to an amended complaint filed Tuesday night in a Manhattan federal court, Musk, his electric car company Tesla, his space tourism company SpaceX, Boring, and others intentionally drove up the price of Dogecoin more than 36,000% over 2 years, and then let it crash after they withdrew their profits. By doing so, the defendants profited tens of billions of dollars at other Dogecoin investors' expense, while knowing all along that the currency lacked intrinsic value and that its value depended solely on marketing. Tesla, SpaceX, and Boring did not immediately respond on Wednesday to requests for comment. Tesla disbanded its media relations department in 2020. The original lawsuit was filed back in June. And, the truth be told, Elon fucked us, man. Elon fucked us. Plain and simple, Elon really drove the Dogecoin thing, really drove it hard. And I know a lot of people who put a lot of money in that shit. And I know some people who actually made some money on that because they sold when they should have early. But what about all the rest of the people? There are people out there that just aren't that bright, and they took a lot of their money and they went and invested it into this cryptocurrency and made an already ridiculously rich emerald baron, even richer than he already was. That's how this propaganda shit works. And it's funny that this is the guy we're championing, for like calling out Twitter on using bots. The reason why he knows about Twitter using bots is because this dude is used to manipulating the public with his own bots, per se, himself. Elon goes out there and he says, drive Dogecoin to the moon. We're making a move. We're fucking up the currencies and the global markets and the world banks. No, you're not. Your pyramid scheming broke people into giving you billions of fucking dollars. It's part of the reason why your net worth increased 600% over the last 3 years. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? How long have I been doing this? 30 minutes. I don't think today's going to be a very long show. You think the Queen will die soon? I think she'll die soon too. I mean, she's 96 years old. She's going to die. It will be interesting to see what happens with the royal family after they decide what they're going to do. I don't know how it works. I mean, I'm sure somebody's already got this mapped out about who's supposed to be in power and who's supposed to be the ruler after the Queen's gone. But how fucking weird is that, huh? That people still allow a family to be the ruler of their country. And I know they have a parliament and people say, oh, the royal family is most really decorative and for entertainment. But that's a goddamn lie. That family has fucking pull, authority, even. Now, it's some unrelated shit that I'm not reading you out of the news. Can anyone tell me why the Vatican is urging that all of the Catholic Church members involved with the Vatican move all their funds from the public organizations back to the Vatican by the September 30th? I wonder what's going on. It's almost like the Queen dying has more implications than we really might have thought. I always wonder, man, did we really ever get independence from England? Or was that shit just a facade, man? Was that just bullshit that they threw our way to make us feel like we were like being represented and like we were on our own? Prince Charles will take her place. Prince Charles will be the new queen, eh? We're gonna have a King Charles. I'm just wondering how it's going. Queen or king still have the ability to declare war. Won't, but that's powerful. That is powerful. Too powerful, perhaps, for a 96-year-old lady whose only claim to leadership is being born into a weird incestual royal bloodline, who frowns on marrying serfs and peasants, especially when they're of a different color persuasion than the rest of the clique. Kudos to Prince Harry or whatever the fuck for getting the fuck out of there. I don't know which ginger prick it is that left, but he's still not living like a peasant life. He's not living like us. It was in a story I read earlier today. Then William will take Charles' place. Yeah, fuck those guys. Not my king. Hashtag not my king. Hashtag not my Charlie or Willie. Let's never again call them by their full respectable names. Let's call them Willie and Charlie, like they come from the South Side, like a good quality South Side name, Charlie and Willie. I've met a handful of those, Willies and Charlies. It will be interesting, but that's the idea, is that it's interesting. It'll be interesting to spend like 3 minutes a day on. Anything outside of that, like, you put too much time into it. Fuck a royal family. They don't care about us. You think YouTube muted me? I wouldn't be surprised by that, because like YouTube doesn't really. NVN. I don't know what NVN is. Unfortunately, I'm a Gen Xer, little bit of a boomer even. I don't know what NVN meant. Maybe it means never mind. Maybe you just had your thing down, turned down. But royalty over there. Mr. Nicholas, do Croatians give a shit about the Queen of England? I'm just wondering. Because Americans sure the fuck do. Americans just love them some rulers, man. They love to have masters, and they love to worship the masters. They just like, fuck yeah, the Queen. This bitch was around when we were declaring independence from Britain. Her and Betsy Ross were partners and shit. They're like friends until the whole 4th of July thing happened, How do British people celebrate 4th of July? Do they? Is it like a sad day? You don't like the UK? Well, most people don't like the UK, and most people don't like the UK because they're like America in a nutshell, basically, right? They want to snatch land. They want to, sort of pillage around and then play like they're the respectable group when they're really not, I get it. All right. Fuck the Queen. I'm with you, Mr. Nicholas. I'm with you. I'm with Croatia on that, buddy. And let's be honest, doesn't Prince Charlie and anyone find it odd that as soon as Princess Diana started messing with a Muslim, she suddenly dies and no one notices? No, it's not odd. It's not odd at all, to me. Everybody noticed. Just no one gives a shit. That was really, like, as a kid, that was my first, like, look at adults talking about how Princess Diana was killed, yet nobody really giving a fuck. They were all just like, oh my God. They say it was the paparazzi, I can't respect people who eat beans and weenies for breakfast. Bro, I am with you on that shit, okay? I can't respect people who eat beans and weenies for breakfast either. To me, beans are a barbecue item or meant to be in chili or soup or some shit. I can't. I love British people too, though, man. I like. I'm gonna be honest here. I just love people with accents. I want an Australian friend. I want a British friend. I want Croatian friends. I actually do have a Croatian fan here, a Croatian friend here, and I want all the friends with the cool accents, man. Because I gotta be honest, I just love accents. I love accents. Princess Diana was my first major celebrity death that I watched on the news and watched adults' reactions. And not only that, but I watched the other adults die, but that was the first time when they were like, basically the government killed her. You know what I mean? Like that was the first time I was watching people conspiracy. You know what I mean? They were like, nope, paparazzi didn't fucking cause that accident. They fucking waited till she went in a tunnel and they murdered her. She was a disgrace to the royal family. And that's how the royal family felt about her. And they ain't above murder and mayhem. They're fucking weirdos. Fuck that last one that who was the last one that died? That fucking weirdo that was related to like Dracula or some shit. Like that's how old these like how long that family's been around. They could trace their lineage that far back. Dracula, motherfucking Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler. I sound like a Southerner talking about a Chevy. Yeah, that's a 95 Impaler. You know, it was my first exposure to that shit. And it's weird because I clearly remember that. And thinking about like the people who killed Princess Diana probably wearing like suits, looking like Secret Service agents or like the agent from the Matrix. I had that vision of the agent from the Matrix. Not obviously we all did because that's the guy who's the shadow ops guy, right? The dude in the suit with the fucking earpiece, you know. The real scary motherfuckers out there, the biggest gang on the planet. These weird. I mean, I don't want to sound like some weirdo, but they're fucking out there. They're listening to us and they're listening to the shit we say. Man, it's so weird. It's like I sometimes I wonder to myself, I can't see all the comments on Facebook Live anymore. Just the ones. Nah, listen, Jeff, we're streaming to Facebook Live. My Facebook, we're streaming to only in Lime, and the comments that you can't see also coming are from YouTube, Twitch. You can follow any of those streams, man. I'm on Twitch, I'm on YouTube. You just have to type in my name. I'm not anything. I'm the Lemolian on Twitch. I don't know what the difference is if you watch me here or on Twitch. I don't get paid for any of this shit, so I don't give a fuck where you watch me. You know what I mean? But they don't integrate all the comments together. But I could show your comment on the screen. Check that out. Jeffrey Hauska. So you can't see the comments on Facebook Live anymore? Just the ones curated for me? No. I should have put this is the funniest one here. I can't respect people who eat beans and weenies for breakfast. Take that, you Brits. Have a spot of tea on that with your beans and weenies. Seriously, though, did they put like cinnamon and shit on them? How do you eat those beans and weenies? Like, comment, and share. I'd never say that. What is Twitch? Twitch is a streaming platform mostly for gamers. I'm not a gamer. I used to be. I just can't find time to do it. Beans for breakfast. By the way, Jeffrey Hauska, happy late anniversary, man. I meant to make a personal phone call, and now I feel like a huge fucking dick. You had a barbecue Sunday. I already had plans going on. I was going to tell you guys that. Happy anniversary. Seriously. I love you guys and I miss you. So just so you know. But yeah, seriously, what we were talking about with the beans is that apparently British people eat fucking weenies and beanies for breakfast. Weenies and beanies. I eat beans. If I ate beans for breakfast, my wife would call the police. My wife would look at me like I'm fucking retarded. There's no reason ever I would eat beans for breakfast. I have to wonder, are they cinnamon and sugar beans? But then throw a hot dog in a cinnamon and sugar bean, and that's gross, man. Like breakfast to me isn't beans and weenies. Beanies, yeah, shit, man. Fuck that. Anyway, you tell those British people, I think that's fucking gross. And I think tea's kind of like, I don't know, it's like decaffeinated coffee. Although I could get into drinking tea. I could. There's a lot of different flavors and shit. It's not just bean water. You know, shit, I forgot to tell my wife happy anniversary. Did you fucking really? No, you didn't. I hope you're bullshitting. That'd be real bad, you know? My wife messaged me. Let me close these now. Yeah, so I could fuck with teas, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I like iced tea too. I do. I'm not against tea, but I like coffee. Coffee's for me in the morning. I don't know why, but bean water does it for me, man. Like bean water, you know, coffee bean water, not fucking London bean water, you know? I could fuck with tea. Put a little honey in that shit, you know? My wife drinks tea every day. We even bought a fancy fucking teapot that doesn't go on a stove. It's induction heating. I actually use it more to make oatmeal and ramen noodles and shit than I do anything else, man. So she uses it for the tea, and we distill water and shit, man. Like, does anybody out there distill water? Have you ever distilled your own water? Their tea has a little Coke in it. Does it really? I would try cocaine tea, you know? Fuck. I mean, I've snorted cocaine off of toilets in public restrooms. Why wouldn't I try cocaine tea? Disclaimer, I haven't snorted coke off of a toilet in a public restroom in a very, very long time. And I'm probably done with that section of my life because I'm scared of like fentanyl and shit. So you know, that part of me is over with, but Coke tea, I'm in. Although I gotta be honest, I like the more I think about it, the more weird it would be. Like you drink some cocaine, then your throat gets numb. Shit could get weird. Full English breakfast consists of a lot of things. I avoid the beans, tomatoes, and blood sausage. Blood sausage is fucking terrible. Just heard it was in their water system. Don't quote me on any of this. Definitely worth Google. Yeah, you know. uh their tea has a little coke in it. How much is a little? What's an acceptable amount of cocaine to have in your tea? You know, just a spot, one lump or two. Maybe that. I always thought that was sugar. Turns out they're just putting grams of coke right in their tea. That's probably why they talk like that. Throat's a little numb. Chasing the teas. Whew, man. Putting cocaine in their water system. You know, speaking of shit in your water system, though, seriously, I bought a distiller, I guess about a month ago now. And I didn't buy a distiller to distill drinking water initially. What I bought a distiller for is that me and my wife are plant people. Okay. Uh, I mean, if you look around behind me, there's plants everywhere here. Okay. Like, you know, we just like plants of all kinds. Not only do I like marijuana plants, but I like plants, you know, like pothos and fucking monsteras and fucking, you know, plants. Right. So I bought a water distiller because the water out here in Jeffco is fucking absolutely hot garbage, filled with minerals and all kinds of shit. But after distilling the water here, I don't drink the water out of the tap here anymore. And the reason being is because there's a very measurable amount of leftover powder in my water when I'm done distilling it. Like if I distill a gallon of water, there's probably a quarter cup of minerals or powder or whatever the fuck that is. I thought about doing a video about it. Like the next time I clean my distiller, I'm going to throw some citric. You got to clean it out with citric acid and shit, you know, because the minerals build up. And I expect minerals to build up where the shit's drying out. But this is above and beyond, man. Honestly, like if there's anybody in the St. Louis area that knows anything about having things tested, about where I could maybe take something and have it tested and then told what it is, because I live down the street from a silica quarry where they make silica quartz, where they're mining quartz and silica. And I just wonder how much of this shit should be in your water. Now, we do have a water softener here. I don't want to make any assumptions. I just think that there's an excessively odd and large amount of weird powdery shit in my water when I distill it. So now all my coffee, all my juice, all our tea, all of our drinking water that we're drinking is either from a bottled water or it's distilled at our own house. You can buy a distiller on Amazon for, I don't know, 50, 60 bucks. They're not going to be fat. You can maybe make 4 gallons a day if you're very vigilant. about refilling the distiller, washing it out after every gallon real quick, refilling it with water, putting it back to work. We're storing it and trying to build up a decent amount of distilled water, just for our own health, man, because I don't want kidney stones. When I look at that much powder in the water, I think that my body has to filter that out. And if it's solidifying in the distiller, then it's solidifying or being filtered and processed by my kidneys. So I don't want that shit. I'm not a scientist. I don't know I'm not a doctor. It's common sense to me. What you put in is what you're putting out. And, yeah, man, like the chlorine, I wanted that out of my tap water. Same thing, man. Like the amount of chlorine that they put in there is crazy. And we absorb the shit out of that. And chlorine is bad for you. It's a toxin, and I understand it's got tons of great uses. And I'm not trying to be a fucking caveman, but a lot of times in society, we add a bunch of shit trying to make some shit better. And then in the long run, we end up making it worse and making ourselves unhealthy, shortening our lifespans and our happiness and our, whatever, our quality of life, yada, yada, yada. All that jazz. So I don't, just rambling now, but if anybody knows anything about getting it tested or where I could have these tested or even a place that I could mail this shit to have it tested, I'm in. I'll even pay for it. Like I'm not asking for anyone to do anything for free. I'm not even asking for a deal. I just want to know where to go. And obviously I could Google that shit, but I like interacting with people and asking questions. And I like the idea that maybe I could stimulate you into thinking and doing a little bit of homework, even if it's self-centered, because I don't want to. Stimulating your mind is good for you, so learn some shit. I'd like to learn what the fuck is in my water here. I live literally across the street from the water processing plant too. When I say across the street, I mean, I'm like fucking 600 yards from it. You can get free simple testing kits. Nah, I don't feel like they're reliable either. Adam, I feel like with most of those testing kits, what they're trying to do is actually sell you some shit. And I feel like, you know what I mean? Like I need a laboratory and I want to take it in a laboratory and I don't want to tell them where I got it. I just want to be like, here's this shit. Tell me what it is. And then I want them to tell me what it is. That way there's no hoaxes, bullshit, nothing. I just get a chemical analysis done and bam, I just drink my water directly from the Merrimack and George Winter Park. Hey, man, that's isn't it weird that we're humans, we live here on the planet and we can't just drink water from puddles like the dogs. Like, not that listen, guys, I don't want to drink water out of the puddles, obviously, okay? But what the fuck happens if the water pumps stop working, guys? What do you do? Do you know how to make clean drinking water? I know my boy Jeffrey Hauska does. I imagine that Adam does. But how many people out there watching know how to make water safe for you to drink? Because you can't just go slurping it out of a puddle. Boiling water will do the trick, but it doesn't mean that it's going to make it taste good or that it's going to remove like everything that you need removed from there, man. You need to learn how to filter your water, and it's really not that tough. Like you can filter your water with dirt and it'd be better than just drinking your water from a puddle. So, learn about that. Look into that, man. Maybe spend a couple bucks and buy yourself a water filter that you can dry store to where just in case something happens, you can filter water, you can drink it if you ain't no bitch, Weird, man. We're really the only species here that cannot fucking survive on the planet. We can, but we can't just walk up to the stream and fucking slurp water out of that shit. You'll shit yourself till you die. And that's fucked up, dude. That's how terrible we have become at existing on this planet. We made ourselves this way. There was a time when human beings could just slurp out of fucking puddles. They could drink water off of rocks, and now we're not there anymore because we're pussies. We're punk bitches compared to everything else. I mean, we got these thumbs and these brains and these fucking machines and shit. But when it all said and done, if the gas doesn't fucking pump, if the water doesn't pump, if the electric doesn't flow, none of that shit works. And the animals are going to fucking eat us. There's some truth for you on your Thursday. Seriously, because that's the reality of it. And if you don't spend any of your time figuring out how to exist in a world without infrastructure, then you haven't done yourself a favor. I'm not telling you to freak out. I'm not telling you to prep a bunch of shit. I'm not telling you to dig an underground bunker under your basement. If you want to do that shit, great. If you don't, cool. But if you don't learn life, like just how to make a fire, how to make clean drinking water, well, yeah. I hope everything keeps its shit together for your sake and my sake. I don't want to live in that. I mean, you know, I we romanticize the fall of society a lot of the times, and it's nothing to be romanticized. It's terrifying, and a lot of people who think, myself included, that they do just fine probably wouldn't. I'm overweight as fuck. Like, there's a lot of things to consider, man. End of the world style shit. Shit hits the fan style shit. You should learn the littlest things. That way, maybe you can make it a month, Learn the simple things. Learn how to open a fucking can without a can opener. Do you know how to open a can without a can opener? You know? It's just fun and nice to do that stuff. I never did outdoorsman activities to prep, but it is a nice side effect. It really is, Jeff. You're training yourself how to put food on your own table. If the grocery stores aren't open, you have the ability and the tools needed to supply your loved ones and yourself with food. And food is a necessity. Water is a necessity. You need those things for sure. Fire, shelter, warmth, all those things. You ever think about that? How fucked up would shit be if everything just stopped working? Like, imagine if the infrastructure and the grid collapsed. How long do you think that most people would make it? Like the average American, Like, especially when you think about who the average American is. I could come over and see it Sunday, Jeff, but you should come over Saturday night and watch the fights on a projector. Big weekend of fights. I'm going to be a sucker and give Dana White $70 of my fucking money to watch Nate Diaz's last fight as a UFC competitor. Now, it's been kind of hyped up in the last week that Nate doesn't really give a fuck about the fight, and I don't blame him. But Nate's not the kind of guy to go in there and just let fucking someone beat him up. Nate's a fighter. Nate's got a little gangster in him, so he ain't gonna just go in there and be like, okay, go ahead, beat me, whatever. It's about legacy for these guys, man. It's about being a genuine badass for Nate. And I admire that shit, man. I know I don't want everybody running around with like toxic masculinity, but I like Nate. I like Nate Diaz, So Saturday night fights, my house, watching that shit, man. Gonna watch it in my garage. The weather's supposed to be beautiful. We'll open the door. Hopefully it's a nice, clean, open space by then, which would be very fucking nice. I'm not holding my breath. But yeah. So, I'm excited. Although I do think Khamzat's gonna fucking beat him either way, whether he tries or he doesn't. I think that Khamzat's a fucking animal. And I just, in my mind, I can't even, like, the two of them aren't the same size to me. They're in the same weight class, but Khamzat is such a big fighter, such a strong dude. I don't see Nate doing the usual shit that Nate does, which is basically get beat up for 4.5 rounds and pull out a submission or whatever, Like, Nate's a baller. He's a fighter, man. I'm not discrediting him. He's one of the toughest dudes out there. The dude is a fucking gamer, but he's gonna get his ass kicked this weekend, and I'm down to watch it. Farewell to Nate. And then hopefully you do good at whatever endeavors you decide to do. They showed. Yeah, I don't know if if you're watching and you're not a fan of MMA, you might not know who Nick is, but that's Nate's older brother, and basically his career was ended by the regulatory commissions who decided at the time that marijuana was a performance enhancing drug. So it was kind of odd to watch Nate take his drug test while consuming marijuana because, over the course of the last 10 years, things have changed drastically in the marijuana department. So Nick was deprived of a budding and awesome career, which is, if you ask me, it was a little ridiculous for him to ruin his career with marijuana. I feel like it's sucky, but I get it. If that makes sense. Like, I get it, but I don't. Like Ricky Williams, Nick Diaz, like, just stop smoking weed while you're being a professional, or stop for 45 days before your fight or whatever. Like, don't leave millions of fucking dollars on the shelf. But also, we need people who stand up against that shit and do whatever the fuck they want to do at the same time. So, at any rate, guys, it's been 55 minutes of whatever the fuck this is. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. Go out there and try to be cool with each other, man. Good moods and positive vibes. That shit is contagious. Go out there and just be courteous. You don't have to be fucking nice. Just be respectable and be nice to everybody. You never know what kind of day-changing shit you might do by just holding open a door or being nice to someone. You know what I'm saying? So I know that sounds ridiculous and cliche, but remember, you got to be the change. If you want the world to be a different place, you got to lead by example. Show us what you want the world to be. I love you all. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Hasta luego.